Fellas, this is massive news. Massive news, and I'm super pumped about it. All right? You know I'm a big soccer guy. USL, United Soccer League, has announced that they're instituting Pro Rel, promotion and relegation, probably in like 2027, 2028. Really, really exciting news. They put out this video, actually, putting it together.
Keza, here's Edward Keza! Is he the hero again? Promotion relegation coming to the U.S.? How do you implement it? How long does it take?
Pro Rel would absolutely.
Who's that guy? Who is that guy?
Run it back.
Yes!
Okay, promotion.
I don't know anything that happened after this, but I just saw myself and I was like,
Well, you brought it up on air like 3 years ago.
there have been people on Twitter who, rightfully or wrongfully, have lumped my name in with known personalities pushing Pro Rel. So it's like, me, Eric Winalda, like, a legend in
The
USL.
greats of the game.
The greats of the game,
Promotion relegation coming to the
Yeah.
U.S.? How do you implement it? How long does it take?
Pro Rel would absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes, lads! If I could knee slide right now, right here, I would run. I absolutely would.
That's just hard work paying off right there.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really big deal.
They're like,
Okay,
hey, you made the video.
When we come back from commercial, then I want to know how this works. How many teams do you have underneath them? So I still think college football needs promotion and relegation.
College football is probably more ready for promotion and relegation than soccer is.
Hold on. There
All right.
Now I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm in.
Your son's gonna think you're cool though.
Dang.
I'm just saying, I don't know that I made it happen, but
I don't
Did you have any idea? Did you, the first time you just saw that video, were you like, holy shit, that's me? Or like, did someone send it to you?
somebody sent it. They were like, you made the video. And I
Are you
was
the
like,
Messi of promotion relegation?
well, I don't know. I'm humbled.
Now, we brought up something at the end of last hour, and there's a soccer league, the USL, here in the United States, and they are going to do promotion and relegation. You have that with the Premier League, and those last games, most leagues outside the United States. So those last couple of games, or the last game on the last day of the season, and you're either staying up in the top tier or you're being relegated. And I have said for a long, long time to anybody who will listen to me, including the head of the SEC and the head of the NCAA, relegation would be awesome in college football. Let's say I have 60 teams. Let's say that's what the model is going to be. And that will be your Serie A. How about that, Steve?
Whoa, look at you, dude. Let's go.
The Serie A.
Yes, lad.
Yes, yes. And to stay there, you have to maintain, being one of the top 60 teams. Now, I don't know what's going to decide who gets relegated, who gets promoted, but I do think having that at the end of the year, let's say you had power rankings and you had to be the top 60. So that team that's 61st or 62nd is waiting to see what happens to you on your last game of the regular season. And even bowl games. You can have bowl games matter, and they would really factor in, let's say, with some of these teams, that you could fall out, somebody moves up, you get relegated. Therefore, you're not playing with the top-tier talent. Man, the money won't be the same. You have this in, soccer leagues around the world. Now, the USL is going to adopt the Premier League model here with promotion and relegation. I don't know how we would, unless we did power rankings, but to be able to say, all right, these are the top 60. And then the other ones after that, if you win the FBS championship, are you now the 61st team? Like, how could you move up, or how do you get relegated? But I am fascinated with that model because it makes every game important. And imagine if you did this in other sports. We talk about the NBA. Oh, these games don't matter. What if they mattered? How about you had a team in the G League ready to go that they were going to be that next team, and they were going to move up, and all of a sudden the Charlotte Hornets now are playing in Sioux Falls in Maine and some of these places, they get relegated. It's not going to happen, but I think it could happen in college football. I do. Yes. Yeah, Paulie.
If this were last year, for example, 2024 college football season, there is a thing, an official thing called the College Football Power Index each year, and it goes from week to week, and it's your schedule, your wins, your home versus away, your point differential. And last year, the power rankings, of course, Ohio State was number 1. The last team in college football last year would have been the Kent State Golden Flashes of the MAC. So let's say Kent State got relegated and North Dakota State won the FCS title. They have the opportunity or choice or whatever or obligation to go up to the MAC and join Division I. That would be promotion relegation cleanly in college football.
But we're talking about the top 60 teams.
Yes, I'm just saying last year.
Yeah, but I don't want to. I want to do top 60.
Yes, if you did. Okay, so the 60th ranked team
Kent State was one of the worst teams
in all of college football.
Yes.
So last year, the 60th ranked team would. Oh man, it may have been the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
There you go. Perfect. A team that could be up and sometimes is down. They kind of live on that line. That is a perfect example of what makes Pro Rel great.
And if you went into the last game, I think you could have. Now, it may not happen. Like, you're not falling out where you're going to be playing in minor league towns. You're still going to play, but your schedule, now you make less money because you're not in the upper tier. Now you're playing secondary teams with the opportunity to get a good record and a power ranking to move up into the top 60. But I think that would be an interesting dynamic if you were able to do that. All these professional sports that we have, it feels like nothing's interesting until it gets closer to the postseason. Now it would make all of these games, especially if you had college football where you have 14 games. Now every week is important. Every single week. And then you'll have games that are really important to get into the 14-team playoff, and then you'll have really important games to just stay in the top 60 in college football. Yes, Marvin.
And can you imagine the level of decommitments that happen if Oklahoma State ends up losing? Like, they're relegated.
Oh, my God.
That 5-star recruit is not coming to Stillwater anymore.
Oh, the transfer portal.
Like, NIL, like, what happened? Like,
oh, boy.
Look at all this money we lost.
But, okay, what's this mean for soccer in the United States? Because this is something that we don't do.
Well, so there's two really main bodies in soccer in the United States, MLS and USL, and they're very much competitors, and they're very much like sort of in a land war of trying to gobble up as many cities as they can to expand as fast as they can. So USL announcing that they're instituting Pro Rel is very much like a shot at MLS.
Okay.
It's probably what a lot of people would consider to be a more pure form of the game, whereas MLS is a closed league, meaning if you lose, it doesn't really matter. And the only way to get in, you can't win your way into MLS. You have to buy your way in. So in order to get into MLS, you need about $300 million, a gigantic stadium, and a city that approves. You need all these things. In a league that has promotion and relegation, you could start a team today in Milford and be in that soccer pyramid and eventually win your way up to the highest level.
Like Wrexham is doing with Ryan Reynolds.
Wrexham is a team that was once at the very top of soccer in England.
Top of the table.
Top of the table. Yeah, they're like the Dallas Cowboys say. They're huge. And then they lost their way all the way down into what's called the National League, which is like almost like a semi-pro league. It's, I think, 5 tiers below. And then Ryan Reynolds and that group, they bought Wrexham, and now they've since been promoted 3 straight times. So they've won their way back up to the 2nd tier now. It's a massive story. It's a huge thing in soccer. You don't really see anything like that. To be promoted, 2-3 straight times. So they're just outside of championship. They're just outside of the Premier League.
And college football has that soccer atmosphere to it because you're talking about communities. You're talking about, Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Columbus, Ohio, Baton Rouge. And that's what you have with soccer as well. So that passion for your town, your city being relegated would be an interesting dynamic to add to it. Yes.
There's definitely an element of civic pride to soccer. Like I could compare it to college. You think about high school, right? And you had all of the towns around you that you really wanted to beat. You had rivalries with all your towns. Well, take that and put millions of dollars behind it and call it professional, right? So say in the NFL, I'm a Patriots fan, but I don't really have a connection to the Patriots. I was born in New Jersey. I'm in Connecticut. I'm mostly doing it for the bit at this point anyway. But if it was the Hartford team that got to play the Patriots, I would be all in because that's my hometown. That's where I live. I've lived there for 25 years now, so that's like that when you put a team out there, it's like those are our boys and they live in our city and they're representing us. And I want them to beat every other city around us.
Give me the teams that hovered around the 60 mark of the top 60 teams in college football
So
last
let's
year.
say your model of 60 teams, who would be in that relegation zone last year?
Oklahoma State is there.
Yep. The California Golden Bears would have been 54th. UCLA Bruins, 55th. The Duke Blue Devils were 60 on the nose. The West Virginia Mountaineers, 63. North Carolina Tar Heels, 64. Those are some serious football programs. Semi-serious football programs.
Yeah.
Checking.
Those games would mean so much.
The atmosphere is unreal. There's no such thing as, not in college football, but if you take the NFL or you take the NBA or whatever, there's no such thing as tanking.
Yeah.
Tanking is completely eliminated. Losing will never, ever, ever benefit you in a pro rel model. You always have to win.